welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you a very special recipe. This is my first bread recipe that I ever created, and I created it to taste just like my great-grandmother's recipe. My great-grandmother's recipe, though, takes all day to make. I grew up with my mom making it, and I just didn't have the heart to do it, so this is my quick version of my grandma's recipe, which is delicious. And I get asked all the time for people to give me the recipe, so I figured you would probably want the recipe too. Okay, so we're going to start out with 3 3/4 cups of warm water, and this is really important for the growth of the yeast. 1 tablespoon of yeast and 1 tablespoon of salt. We have 6 tablespoons of sugar and 6 tablespoons of oil. And you can use butter if you want instead too, but it's good either way. Special ingredient I think in this white bread is potato. My grandmother used potato water, but we're going to use potato flakes. 1/2 cup of potato flakes, 3 eggs beaten, 1/2 cup of powdered milk. And if you use instant, just double it and you have a cup in there. Then I just like to use my hook and give a little stir as I'm adding into this 12 cups of flour. And with any bread recipe, it's the consistency of the dough that matters. So depending on the day, if you need to add a little bit more water or a little bit more flour, that's okay, because the other ingredients pretty much carry the recipe. And the fun thing about bread is it's slightly different every time you make it, and it's just like a wonderful surprise every time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to knead it for 5 to 10 minutes. And you can just let it go for the full 10 minutes if you want, or if you're kneading it by hand, especially 10 minutes. So what you'll do is let that all incorporate, and you'll want it to be nice and smooth. So what you're looking for is something like this, okay? So we're gonna pretend like that already kneaded, and this is a beautiful dough. This is risen, so I let this knead for 5 to 10 minutes, then I covered it with a damp cloth. Then I let it rise for an hour, and what we're going to do is divide this dough in half. One of the loaves from this recipe makes 3 loaves. I already cooked, it's over there. And the other 2, I'm going to show you 2 different ways of making some loaves. One way is the way that I grew up with my mom, and she would push the dough out on the counter to get all the air bubbles out, and then she would just roll it up and make a nice little loaf. Put it in our pans over here. But I'm going to show you a different way too. You can do that when you have time. If you don't want to take the time and you're in a hurry and you need bread really quick and it's late at night and you just want to put it in the oven, you can do this to your bread. You can kind of make sure all the bubbles are out and kind of fold the ends underneath, and that makes a really pretty loaf. Then you're going to brush the top with egg, like beaten egg, and this is going to hold the moisture in while it cooks and give your bread a beautiful, beautiful shine. So we're going to let this rise for an hour, and you can do it in your oven with the oven door closed, or if you have a draft-free place on your counter, you could even cover that if you want. Let it rise for an hour, bake it 350, 35 minutes, and look what you get. This has been brushed with butter afterwards. Look at that loaf. Isn't that just so wonderful? Okay, it's got a crispy crust on the outside, and let's try this. Yep, you and your family are going to love this one. Thanks for joining me.